Okay, hi guys. Welcome to my live stream, and I'm going to audition three IEMs today with the 5 songs that I've listed there. So in this live stream, I'm going to audition three IEMs, and the guest IEM here is the Apostle, and this is a 1DD 6 BAs IEM, and this is from All Audio. They are not really a mass production company, but they do produce IEMs. So if you want to order, you need to place an order, and then they will make the IEM for you. So I've been listening to this. So now I'm gonna compare this with two other IEMs, which is the Blonde BL-07 and the T3 Plus. Okay, so I'm gonna listen to 5 songs and each on the IEM, and I'm gonna rate them. So the first to go is the Apostle, okay, and listening to Seven Nation. And if you guys have any comments, just just leave it in the comments, and I'll try to answer your questions. All right, so let's begin with the first song. All right, let's go. Seven Nation. Okay, the bass is pretty rumbly. Okay, there is the thump. The texture is pretty warm. The tone is okay. Vocals is a little bit forward. The extension of the sub bass is pretty good as well. The roll off is pretty good. It's controlled bass. The vocals is the male vocals. For this song, there's male vocal singing, and it's pretty, the tone and the timbre is pretty good. The texture is pretty good. And it's pretty bright. So, the guitars have started strumming. Yeah, it's very bright. It's not sibilant. It's bright. It's not sparkly, but it's good enough. So let me try to give the bass a 2.6 out of 5. Okay, so I'm giving the bass, and the thump is pretty good. So the mid is a little bit more forward than the sub. Sorry, the mid bass is a bit more forward than the sub bass, and the mids is pretty good. So I might change this a little bit when I listen to the Blonde and the Tin Hi-Fis. And the treble is the extension of the treble is pretty good as well. Nice. And by the way, I'm using my Hip Deck 2, and it's on stock settings. The volume is about 40%, and the gain, which is the power match, is on, but the X bass is off. Okay, so no bass added to it. Treble is really good. Okay, so now Soundstage is a little bit on the sides, and the imaging is pretty okay. Drums, vocals is to the front. Okay, so imaging is okay. And the detail retrieval is pretty good as well. Yeah. Okay, so the micro details I can pick up. Yep. Pretty good. I like this IEM. It's 6 BAs, 1 DD. Okay, so I'm done with this IEM. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next would be the blonde. Okay, so I've got my blonde here. Let's plug it in. So for this audition, I'm just using different cables. It's a little bit unfair, but yep. And for time, I will not be hooking onto my ear. I need to hook this because the blonde don't really want to stick to my right ear. Okay, so blonde is my ear, same song, Seven Nation Army, let's go. Oh, immediately the sub bass is a bit more, in fact much more. And the rumble is more than the Apostle, and the sub bass is warmer. Yeah. Okay, and the thump is warmer and it's got a better impact. It's more forward than the Apostle, so I would give it a bit more than the Apostle. Mids is a little bit behind, a bit recessed. It's not as forward as the Apostle, so yeah, the mids is not as forward, so oops. And the treble is, oh man, the treble. Okay, so the Apostle has got a brighter treble, so I would give this treble less than the Apostle. I mean, this is not really a fair competition because the Apostle is 6 BAs and 1 DD, whereas the blonde is just 1 DD. So, but you know, it's a guess IEM, so I just want to showcase this Apostle. Soundstage is not as wide as the Apostle as well. Imaging is okay. So it's got a smaller room kind of soundstage, so yeah, I'll give it a bit less. Detail retrieval's almost the same, so yeah. Okay, well, I'm done with the blonde. Great. Okay, so it's warmer, it's got a better texture than the Apostle in terms of tone and timbre. So let's move on to the next one, which is the Tin Hi-Fi. Okay, so this is the Tin Hi-Fis, and I'm just gonna plug it in. All right. Okay. All right, let's restart the song, Seven Nation, The White Strips by Elephant. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so the bass, the mid bass is not as rumbly as the blonde, so definitely the blonde has got more rumble, more texture, better tone, warmer tone. The T3 Plus doesn't have such a warm tone to it, but it's a little bit warmer than the Apostle, a bit more forward than the Apostle, so I would give it a bit more than the Apostle. The thump and the impact of the mid bass is also not as impactful as the BL-07, so it's almost the same as the Apostle. Okay, the vocals is pretty warm as well, but it's not as warm as the BL-07. it's not as forward as the Apostle. Apostle has got a more forward vocal, so I might just give this a bit more than the blonde. Treble, yeah, treble is more forward than the blonde, so, and it's got a bit more sparkle than the blondes. Soundstage is almost the same. I don't hear much difference for the soundstage. Imaging, yeah, imaging's almost the same, but this has got better, a bit more. Nah, it's the same. The detail resolution is almost the same. You know, you can't really tell the difference between these three. They don't sound muddy, they don't sound muffled. So in terms of detail and resolution, these three IEMs are almost the same. Okay, so that's great. When the guitars start strumming, I think the Apostle has got a nicer, better energy as compared to the blonde BL-07 and the Tin Hi-Fis. Okay, so much for that. Okay, so let's move on to the next song, which is let's see, what's the next song? We've Just Begun by Sin Egg. Right, so let's look for that song. Sin Egg. Okay, so let's move on to Sin Egg. Okay, so first to go is the Apostle. Right. Okay, this is going to be a quick round just to show you guys. Okay, right. Apostle, we've Just Begun by Sin Egg. Let's go. Ooh, immediately the trumpet, you know, the energy of the trumpet that came in. Wow. Okay, so for this song, the treble is really sparkly. Very good treble. And the vocals, it's got this warm tone, forward. It's, you know, Sin Egg sounds really sparkly on this. Good. Nice. I'll give it a bit more for this. No, not much of a mid bass, and the sub bass rumble is there, but it's not so prominent. You know, because there's a bass guitar that's strumming back in the background. I can hear it, but it's just not as forward as I hoped. Yeah. The mid bass is pretty okay as well. And again, the soundstage is almost the same. So and now the detail on this song is pretty good. If you've got the clarinet and the trumpets, and it's in the background, nice. So I'll give the detail on this a bit more. Nice. Okay, so wow. So immediately I can tell that this is a very, very bright IEM. Okay, so let's change out to the next IEM. That is the blonde. See how this compares to the Apostle. So generally the Apostle currently is the brightest IEM out of the three. The blonde is the bassiest out of the 3, right? Let's go. It's still pretty, the treble on this, okay, so when the trumpet started blowing, it's still pretty energetic, but it wasn't as energetic as the Apostle. So, but on this song, treble is pretty good as well. And the mid sounds, this vocal sounds warm, very warm, but it's not as forward as the Apostle. And it's got more bass, more rumble, warmer tone, better timbre. The timbre is a bit more warmer. I wouldn't say more correct, but it's warmer. And not much of a mid bass for this song, so okay. Now the soundstage on this, on this song, it sounds like it's in a bigger room. It may be me, but yeah, but it's almost the same as the Apostle. But the detail, I find that the Apostle has got better detail retrieval in terms of the micro background, kind of thinking of the, yeah. Okay, so yeah. Nice. It's not as bright as the Apostle. Okay, so these are the blondes. Let's move on to the next one, which is the T3 Plus. Okay. Right. T3 Plus. Now this is not going to be healthy for my cables, but you know, just for the video, doing this for you guys. Oops, sorry. Okay. Alright, let's restart the song. We've just begun by Sineg. Let's go. Ooh. Yes, it's brighter than the blondes, definitely. The treble is much better than the blondes, but it's not as good as the Apostle. It's the same, I mean, as the previous song. Again, the mids is more forward than the blondes. It's not as forward as the Apostle. And the tone and the timbre is less warm than the blonde. Okay, so I'll probably give it the same. And again, not much of a sub bass and a mid bass. The thump, the rumble, yeah. Okay, so, but for this song, yeah, it's not as impactful, it's not as rumbly, and the tone and the timbre is just okay. It's neutral, kind of tone and timbre. So, sub bass, I'll probably give it a bit more. Now, this soundstage sounds a little bit wider. Yep. And the detailed retrieval is almost the same as the other two. Yep. Okay. Sounds pretty good. Okay. Any questions so far? Yay. Oh, yay. Alright. Carmine Di Santo. Yay. Alright, so let's move on to the next IEM, and that would be, oh sorry, next song, because this is the last of the 3. So let's move on to the next song. So the next song would be Eden, live at the Connect, Elizabeth. All right, and the first to go is the Apostle. Okay, so again, this is not going to be a fair comparison because Apostle is 1 DD and 6 BAs. So, just to let you guys know, right? Where's that song? I lost it. Okay, there you go. Right, next song, Eden. Okay, so the trumpet comes in. It should sound warm, but on this, I don't find it really warm, and it's okay. And the drums will come in soon. Okay, so that drum, when the kick drum kicks in, I should feel that impact, but I'm not feeling it. So I'm not gonna give this a very good score. And the sub bass itself, the bass, yeah, it's just okay. And it's not really warm as well. Ooh, but when the vocals came in and it's really, really good. And Sparkly, she sounds really intimate. I'm gonna give it a 3. So yeah, the vocals really good. Listen a little bit more. Snares and cymbals are good as well. Soundstage, yeah, it's almost the same as the other two songs. So, and because this is a live performance, the detail and the resolution, they don't sound as good as the other two songs. So I'm trying to find out how much this IEM can pick up in terms of details and resolution. So currently it's doing pretty okay. I can hear some micro details at the background, but because I guess it's the quality of the recording, I'm just gonna give it a 2.7. Yeah. Okay, so alright, so this is the Apostle. Let's move on to the next IEM. And that will be the Blonde. Okay, cables not easy to manage, but I'll try. Okay, Blondes. Okay, let's restart the song. And let's go, Eden. Okay, immediately the trumpet sounds a bit warmer when it starts. Okay, so in terms of tone and timbre, the Blonde is pretty warm as compared to the other two, right? Oh man, the sub bass, that rumble, and the kick drum, and the snare, the impact. Oh wow. Okay, I like it. I like it. Okay. Mid bass really good. Violin sounds really nice as well, but it's not as bright as the Apostle. And vocals, they sound warm, but it's not as forward as the Apostle. Okay, so I don't know. What should I give it? It's just maybe a bit less. And treble wise, it's not as forward, it's not as extended. The cymbal strikes don't sound as good as the Apostle. So yep. Soundstage, Oops. Okay. Now, detail resolution, I do, because this is a live recording, so it's really hard to tell the difference. It's really hard. They sound almost the same in terms of the detail and retrieval and the resolution. So, but the bass, the sub bass on this, on the blonde, is really good. Okay. Right, let's move on to the Tin Hi-Fi T3 Plus. Okay, let's go. I hope you guys are enjoying yourself. If you want some background music, I can add it in if you want. But I guess you want to listen to my live commentary, I guess. Okay, so let's move on. Eden, same song on a T3 Plus. Okay, so trumpet, opening trumpet do not sound as warm as the blonde. Same thing, it's not as warm, but is pretty forward. And let's listen to it a little bit more. And again, when the drums start, it's not as impactful, it's not as, but in fact, the drum on this song is, and the mid bass, is lacking. It's definitely lacking. I'm not feeling the impact of the mid bass. Oh, but vocals is really nice. So it's almost as good as the Apostle. No, the Apostle is a little bit better. So treble, I'm trying to pick up the treble. Simple strikes is, and the violins, they don't sound as bright and as forward as the Apostle, so Soundstage is more to the sides, vocals in the middle, drums. Okay, imaging and Soundstage is pretty okay. Again, it's not as good as the Apostle. Yeah. I can't tell the difference between the detail, between the three for the detail resolution. Yeah. Okay, so I would say the sound signature between the T3 Plus and the Apostle is almost the same. They are more or less balanced, whereas the blonde is more of a U shape. Okay, let's move on to the next song, which is So Slow. And this is actually a sentimental song. Yep, it's a freestyle. Okay, so first up is the, again, Apostle. This is a $200 plus REM. Okay, let's go. The acoustic guitar, the opening of that acoustic guitar, wonderful. The treble and the vocals sparkly. Yeah. Ooh, good. It's not as warm as I hoped, but the tone and the timbre is just right. Nice. And the strum of the guitar, especially the lower octaves, is not as rumbly as I hoped. But the tone of this song on this Apostle is great. yeah, not much of a mid bass because not much of an impact. This song is not a very impactful song, except when the guitar player, the guitarist, slaps the acoustic guitar. So I can feel a little bit of impact, but not much. And the soundstage on this song sounds a bit wider on this Apostle, pretty okay. But yeah. But the recording of the song is pretty good. That little strum, when they pluck the guitar, that micro detail, really good. And the strut, when the guitarist strut the guitar, that micro detail, I can pick it up. Okay, so detail retrieval resolution on this Apostle is good. Nice. Okay, done with this Apostle. Let's move on to the next one, which is Blonde, BL-07. Okay, so BL-07. All right, let's restart. Well, before that, let's take a look at the comments. All right, no comments, but it's fine. You guys enjoy yourself, and just listen to my comments. Okay, now, so slow on the BL-07. Let's go. Oh, okay, so when the opening strum of the acoustic guitar, it sounds really warm. That rumble, you can hear that rumble there. Sounds really good. The texture is there. It's textured. It's forward. The bass is really forward in terms of the sub bass. So I'm gonna give this a bit more. Nice. And the mid bass as well. And on this IEM, I can hear that a little bit more impact when the guitarist slaps on that guitar. Yeah. Not much, but it's better than the Apostle. So what catches me is the bass. But when it comes to the vocals, it sounds warm, sounds intimate, but it's not as sparkly as the Apostle. And I look for that sparkle, that emotional sparkle when the singer sings. I'm not getting it. So, yeah. And the treble as well. I'm not getting that sparkle. So the only instrument in this song is the acoustic guitar. Soundstage is a little bit more to the front. Singer is in front, yes, but guitar is on the side. So it's not as wide soundstage. And the detail is almost the same. Resolution is almost the same. Can't really tell the difference. That micro detail, that slap and the strut of the acoustic guitar, I can still hear it on this BL-07. So it's fine. It's fine. Okay, it's not that bad. Okay, cool. I'm done with the blondes. Let's move on to the next one with this, which is the T3 Plus. Okay, T3 Plus. Ooh. Okay. Alright, so let's restart the song. So slow. And audition the T3 Plus. Let's go. Ooh, acoustic guitar again is nice and bright. Nice and bright. But it's not as bright as the Apostle. And the vocals, yeah. Okay, so immediately, you know, I can compare. Yep. Okay. Mid bass is a bit more forward than the Apostle, but is again not as much. So, yeah. And there's no rumble, you know, that strum, that lower octave strum of the guitar. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm not getting that rumble. And the texture, the tone, the timbre on this T3 Plus is just a little bit more lighter than the blonde. In fact, no, sorry. It's much lighter than the BL-07. BL-07 sounds heavier. It's got a heavier note weight, and it sounds warmer. But Soundstage is a bit wider. Yeah, on this song I can hear it's a bit wider. The guitar sounds a bit more separated than the vocals. So and the detail and the resolution, yeah, it's good. So no complaints on that. All right, so pretty good. Let's move on to the last song for the night, for my night, and that would be Crossing. So this is an instrumental electronic music, and I use this to test the soundstage imaging, the transition of sound from left to right. Okay, so let's take a look at the comments. Any enjoying the stream? Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to the next song, which is Crossing, and I'd like to thank Mark for recommending this song. It's really, really good. All right, so Apostle, Crossing, let's go. Okay, so in this song you have vehicles going from left to right, right? And that motorcycle just goes way out. So when it goes way out, it tells me where the sound stage is, and also the separation of the sound, the different instruments. You've got cowbells, you've got the drums. The staging is really good on this. It's pretty wide. Yep. Okay, so when the drums come in, the bass, there's not much of a rumble. So again, and the impact, you know, this is a pretty impactful song, but I'm not getting that impact. So no impact. Okay, where's that impact? But so mids, there's a lot of instruments going on here. So in terms of the sound separation and the forwardness of the instrument is really good. Crystal clear. Crystal clear. And the car horn and the claps. There's a lot of clapping on this song. I don't know why, but the clapping is really bright, really clear. An extension of that clap goes really good. Okay. And the detail on this song, wow. Oh, every sound is so clear. and the transition of sound from left to right is there. The image of this song is really clear on this IEM, on the Apostle. Good. Right. Okay, so I think I have heard enough. It's given me a very good impression of this Apostle. Let's move on to the next IEM, which is the Blonde. Please don't disappoint me, because I like this. Okay, so let's restart the song and let's listen to the BL-07 Crossing. Okay, the motorcycle is coming in, left to right. And, well, the soundstage on this is pretty impressive as well. And the layering is not as layered. Yeah. 8. Okay. And it's not as bright. So the cowbell, the hitting of the cowbell is not as I'm not getting an emotional response from that. Oh, but when the drums came in, drums is pretty impactful. It's rumbly. Okay, so the rumble on this Blonde is really good, and the sub bass extension is good as well. It's controlled. It's not, bloomy. It's not bloaty. It's not bloated bass, but it's really impactful. Okay, so I would give this a bit more, because this is more like an EDM kind of music, electronic music. So that controlled bass is really important to me, and it is controlled. It's not all over the place. Mids, I don't find the mids as good, but that rumble is there, and the impact of the mid bass. Instruments, I can't hardly hear them because it's like a bit recessed. The shaker, this song has got shakers in it, but can't really hear it. Treble, yeah, not much. But the detail retrieval, I can't really. I mean, it's okay. It's right. Now, it's okay, but it's not as good as the Apostle. Okay, so I think I've heard enough of the BL-07. Let's move on to the next one, which is, and also the last one for tonight, and that is the T3 Plus. And this is promising for this price compared to the Apostle, which is 200 plus. And it's important to get a good seal. So let me get my seal there. Come on. Okay, let's restart the song and let's go. Crossing by Yoshi Horikawa. Imaging from left to right. Oh, wow. Okay, so the sound staging is pretty okay as well. I think in terms of staging, it's not as good as the Apostle. Sorry, the staging. I'm keying in the wrong one. Where's the bass? So that's the thing, when you listen to a bassy IEM and then you move on to a non-bassy one, you find that it's not there. But the imaging is good, sound stage and layering is good, sound separation is good, The width of the stage is pretty wide as well. No bass. No bass on this song. So the rumble's not there. The texture of that rumble is not there as well. That impact that I'm looking for is not there as well. Man. But the instruments are really clear. Not as clear as the Apostle. And it's a little bit warm. It's a bit warmer than the Apostle, but is yeah, not as detailed. Brightness, I don't feel that sparkle. I don't feel that energy. The Apostle sounds a bit more energetic, for sure. Instruments, they do sound forward, a little bit thin, but it's not as thin as the Apostle. It's got a bit more note weight as compared to the Apostle, but less than the BL-07. So I would give it a 2.8. Nah, I'll give it a 2.9. All right. Okay. That is it. So I have compared three IMs, and here's my verdict. I think the Apostle is, of course, the outstanding one as compared to the other two. But you know, this is a guess IM. I'm gonna return this. So this is expensive. This is what, 4 times as much as the other two. So it's not a fair comparison. But you know, since it's here, I'll just compare. So now let's compare these two. This has got more bass. This has got less, and it's more balanced in terms of tuning for the T3 Plus. This is more of a U shape. The T3 Plus definitely has got more detail, retrieval, and resolution as compared to the BL-07. It's got more forward, mid, less warm tone and timbre. The blonde has got a bit, in fact, more of a warmth and more of a note weight as compared to the T3 Plus. And listening to these two, well, it depends on your listening preference and your song, the tracks that you listen to. This is my choice in terms of my listening preference, which is the I'm not a treble head, but I do prefer a more balanced sound that is delivered to my ear. I don't want too much of a bass. I like bass, but it's not too much. Okay, so yeah, my vote goes to the T3 Plus. Okay. Alright guys, so that's it for this live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself very much. If not, you know, just let me know in the comments. I might change my format, but this is the current format that I am listening to. I rate each IM per track based on the different recordings of that track. So if that track has got poor recording, it will show up in the different IMs. Right, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching my live stream. Until the next live stream, I'll see you guys again and have a great day. Cheers.